Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We've got a very special interview with you. We've got not one, but two guests joining us this evening. We have Rocky from Arizona. He wrestles all over the country. And we've got the new owner of this podcast that just got done today, Big Money Dodge. What I mean by that, we'll find out here in just a couple minutes. So bear with us.
Big Money, always flashing those dollars around. Yeah, I didn't see any of it.
Oh. Well, you're not Big Money talent, man.
Yeah, we'll see about that.
I hope so.
All right.
Love secret.
And again, we've got Rocky from Rocky Mountain or from Pro in Colorado, and we've got Big Money Dodge. We're getting excited to start this podcast, so
let's do this.
Time is money, and I got plenty of money, but no little time.
So we'll be back in 30 seconds to start the show. Ladies and gentlemen, to the all new From the Chair Where Inclusion Matters, the new owner that I just brokered a deal with today, Mr. Big Money Dodge. Thank you for joining us. And our breaking news this evening, thanks to his help, I single-handedly brought in the NWA US Tag Team Champions, the Country Gentlemen, for a podcast on May 25th. That's right. Thanks to the help of Big Money Dodge and all of his money, we brought in probably the biggest fish that this podcast has ever seen. So,
you're welcome.
Congratulations, you guys.
So our old host, Mr. Flying Forehead, Mr. Nathan Noss, has now been replaced by Big Money Dodge. So please, boys, take it away.
Hold on. Puppy, listen to me for a minute, because here's the thing. It's not Big Money Dodge's podcast. It's my podcast. Because unlike that little paper money that you've been flashing on the camera, I got real money that I earned through Social Security, man. So you know what? I got the Country Gentleman, and I just let everybody else here along for the ride.
Okay.
That sounds about right. Big Money always flashing around those dollar bills. I couldn't get a close-up look at those bills because I was too busy beating up your boys in California. But you know what? They looked a little phony from where I was standing.
You know what? You are lucky you didn't face both Jimmy Mayhem and Boo Mayhem. He was out that night, too, for TWE. And you still haven't given us a rematch. So we might have to visit Arizona.
And to take a page out of the great $1 Million Man, Ted DiBiase, Big Money Dodge, I do have a price.
Oh, really?
For those to sway my way to either side.
Yes, but how are you going to cash Monopoly money?
How you
gonna play with your grandma tomorrow?
Oh. Oh, boy.
To answer your question, Dodge, I will give your boys a rematch anywhere, anytime, Big Money. Time and place.
All right. I will be talking to you then. And my lord.
All right. All right, Mr. Bubbling Forehead, do you have a question for either one of these fine gentlemen on the screen with you?
And remember, time is money, and I got plenty of money, but little time.
Yeah, the only reason you have plenty of money right now is you haven't met the hamburger yet from that McDonald's that you have to go to every day for dinner because that's all you can afford.
I like this guy.
What would you know, Rock?
So our first question is for Rock. Who was your wrestling heroes growing up?
James
My
Ellsworth.
Oh, please. Wrestling heroes growing up. Definitely not James Ellsworth, although I do respect the guy. You know, he got to wrestle AJ Styles. I haven't gotten to do that, so kudos to him. But as for my wrestling heroes growing up, I really loved Jake the Snake, Macho Man, Ricky Steamboat. Those were definitely my favorites coming up. If I had to pick an all-time favorite, a guy that I look up to would be Chris Jericho.
You know, because I'm a nice guy and because I'm the true owner and the benevolent one of this podcast,
Keep dreaming.
I should give a chance for Big Money Dodge to answer this question.
What's your question?
Who was your wrestling heroes? Maybe you need to clear that fake money out of those ears instead of trying to flash it into everybody's face.
My hero, to be honest, I would say Undertaker.
Good choice.
Undertaker. He's been through it all. He's done it all. He's a true legend in the business. I mean, God, that guy's done it all, won them all. Until Brock Lesnar, of course, but whatever. But yeah, I would definitely have to choose Undertaker growing up.
Another
Well, that's
reason
one
that Big
thing we
Money-
can agree on.
Exactly.
About time.
And that's another reason that Big Money and I get along so well, Mr. Chairman, because, you know, Undertaker is a true legend, unlike your boyhood hero, Mr. Hulk Hogan.
Oh, yeah, brother.
What
I
you gonna
will
do?
I will agree that Undertaker is a legend, but I will tell you this, Big Money. The way that Brock Lesnar beat The Undertaker is the way the Rock and his partner is going to beat Big Money Inc. next time they meet him in the ring.
You want to put your money where your mouth is, boy?
Bring it anytime.
Downfall Cathedral versus Big Money Inc. Part 2. That sounds like a big money fight. Let's see it.
And we will be on top this time.
Oh yeah, we'll see. We'll see about that.
So, Pat, your question?
Okay, I'm gonna ask this to the both of you. This way, each one of you has a chance to explain how it came about. Can you tell us how your names came to be?
As a gentleman, I'll yield the floor to Mr. Steve, the Big Money.
Oh, wow. This is how it happened. Making big money. I own 2 multi-million-dollar apparel business online. And not only that, every victory counts.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Sounds pretty straightforward.
Yes, sir.
So the way I got my name, the Ramrock, was when I started training in this business in 2009 in Chatsworth, California, at a place called the Fit Pit Pro Wrestling and Training Center. And I had 2 trainers, Brawlin' Bo Cooper and Ryan Katz. Ryan Katz is currently employed with the WWE. He is one of the head producers at the NXT program. And when I first started, we were having some trouble coming up with my gimmick. And the first nickname they gave me was Rad Rock Granite. And I'll just let your imagination go to whatever pops in your head with that.
Family show.
Yes. So I was always told coming in the business that you didn't really ask for anything. You know, you were just whatever your trainer, whatever the promoter told you to do, that was your gimmick. And so I really tried my best to make it work, but apparently my hatred for the gimmick was just all over my face. So after a couple weeks, Ryan Katz pulls me aside and he says, "You know, Rocky, if you don't like the name, if you don't like the gimmick, all you have to do is say something. We'll figure something out for you." And that was like a shock to me because I was like, oh, I didn't know I was allowed to ask. I didn't know I was allowed to ask to do what I wanted. And so the next week I walk in and Ryan Katz looks at me and he goes, "Ramrock." And I don't know. It just clicked. I loved it. And so I've been the Ramrock ever since.
Personally, I think I like Ramrock's answer better because I want to point out that
No one cares about your answers or your opinions.
I care.
Shut up.
That's right.
And you know what?
Nobody cares about what you have to say, Mr. Knotts. The real owner's on the show now, so shut your pie hole and know your damn
I have a
role.
valid point. You said you made your money having 2 online businesses, but can anybody go on like GoDaddy.com and make a domain name and a business for themselves? So really, that ain't saying much, buddy.
Ooh.
Busting them chops. Dang, I love it.
Okay. I'll remember this guy.
Again, let me reiterate. Every man has a price.
Yep. Thank you for the question, Pat.
Unfortunately, Big Money Dodge's price is like 2 cents, which I think I have a couple of pennies sitting off to the side.
Oh, you're
Okay.
taking a poll with my lawyer.
Wow.
I don't want to for you.
All right.
So-
Anyways, next question. But, you know, I don't know. We want to really hear a question from a talking forehead.
Hey, it takes a real host to only be able to show their forehead and still deliver a great interview.
Hey, we can still hear you.
That's right.
The talking forehead.
Okay, go ahead. Next question.
Can you tell us about your biggest rivals?
Biggest rivals. I mean, right now, obviously, it's Big Money Inc. Sitting here in the room with us on this podcast. But in all reality, I would have to say that my biggest rival was right now he is the Boss Baines, but he is formerly known as the Hobo. I actually trained with him at the Fit Pit Training Center. So we all had the same upbringing, the same trainers. And we have fought several battles. We fought many, many times in training. I actually defended my first heavyweight championship against him in Arizona. And most recently, we actually battled in a tag team match. Me and my partner, Ryan Riven, took on him and his partner. They call themselves the Hollywood Dream Breakers at Battleground Pro Wrestling up in Greeley, Colorado. So, Boss Baines, Ramrock, definitely a rivalry for the ages.
Do you care to rebuttal?
My answer, forehead?
Sure, why not?
Well, my answer, besides this douchebag you have over here named Ramrock, I would say, to be honest, being real, right now there's a promotion called Dream Slam in Orange County, California. It's on hold because of family loss of the promoter. But Divine Intervention, Freddie Flores, and Freddie Havoc. Those boys, yeah, those are one of our rivals right now. And of course, the Shadow Society.
You know, Big Money, Downfall Cathedral has problems with the Shadow Society too. So maybe you and I have a little bit more in common than we thought.
Maybe we can work something out eventually.
Perhaps.
Thank you to our one live viewer for this very special impromptu interview and actually watching this. This is really kind of fun tonight. So we appreciate you guys for hanging in. So let's move right forward. Pat, your next question.
How much training did you do weekly, and how many shows do you do a week?
I yield the floor to you, Big Money.
Well, I've been training on and off for about 7 years. I've been in the business for about 7 years. I started off at Orange County Championship Wrestling, OCCW, in Stanton, California. Always wanted to become a wrestler. Unfortunately, didn't happen. That's how I became the richest manager now. Thank you. Then I started training at Inoki Dojo in LA, California, with Jimmy Mayhem. And so, yeah, about on and off, 7 years I've been in, about 7-8 years I've been in the business training, about 4 or 5 years, and shows I've done plenty, and I've done one with this guy right here, Ramrock, about 4 different promotions.
Very good. So, Pat, to answer your question, training is basically every single day, whether that's in the gym, whether that's actually training with my partners. I actually train down in Phoenix, Arizona with Sonoran Championship Wrestling, Jay Garland and the crew down there. Jay Garland wrestled the Big Show on Friday Night SmackDown. He is one of the most prestigious and most well-respected pro wrestlers on the circuit right now. So I try to get down there at least once, twice a month so that I can train with the boys. I've been, but I go to the gym, constantly practicing roles, working out all the time. As for shows, we briefly talked about it in the pre-show or before we went live, but basically every single weekend I've been booked all year long. This weekend will be IZW Wrestling in Phoenix, Arizona. Evil Lives. I'll actually be in the Monster Royal Rumble match. And then after that, we are going to Colorado for 4 days. It's going to be Rocky Mountain Pro, Ignition on the 4th, Rocky Mountain Pro at Bierstadt Lager House on the 5th, and then Battleground Pro Wrestling Mayhem on the 6th. So just tons and tons of shows, tons of bookings every single weekend.
You know, our host does a lot of, our Talking Forehead host does a lot of training too. It takes a lot to run that mouth.
It does. It does.
Use the remote for the TV.
Actually, it does. And you know, if I'm putting myself over, I sing a lot, so that's how I practice, you know, with my voice and stuff. So
fair enough.
And there's a dog right now every time we hear your voice sing.
Well, I don't know how to respond to that, so I'm not going to. So
How about you just go to your next question?
I was planning on that. Thank you very much. This was for Ramrock. How was the House of Gucci formed?
Oh, good question. Good question. So, SCW took somewhat of a hiatus. So they've been around since I want to say like 2000 and like I think 12. They took a little bit of hiatus and then they came back in 2021. And so when when we came back and I was originally brought back in, at first we were just brought in as a tag team. So it was myself and Ryan Riven, and we were just Ramrock and Ryan Riven. But then the very next show, they gave us our manager, Tu Maguchi. And so we were trying to come up with a name. Yes, wonderful man. Far better manager than this big money Steve Dodge guy over here. Takes care of us, make sure all the flights are handled, all the travel arrangements, he a true manager by all means. But anyways, so obviously going with his name Gucci and then the movie House of Gucci, me being German, we decided let's mix it up and call it the Haus of Gucci. And so that's how we were formed together as Haus of Gucci. And then later on, Alex Ace, the 7-foot anomaly, joined Haus of Gucci. So altogether it is the Ramrock, Ryan Riven, Alex Ace, Tu Maguchi. Together we are Haus of Gucci.
So, Mr. Talking Forehead, I'm sorry since you didn't have a question for Mr. Big Money over there. Mr. Big Money Dodge, how was Big Money Inc. formed?
Well, let's just start with the heavy hitters, Tony Reyes and Biggie Biggs. I managed them for quite a while. I got annoyed by being the face manager and not really making money off them. So I went to Azrael, JBD, Domino, and Big John, the referee of OCCW. I started making good money until they started using my money. And then Boom Mayhem comes up to me and says, I have a brother. I said, okay. Well, what's your brother's name? Jimmy Mayhem. So I formed the Mayhem Brothers. From there, I scouted Hellman freaking Rosecrown. I had to sign him. And then I looked at this up and coming, I guess you could say, Lucha Rex Disaster. And from there, Big Money Inc. has been formed. And ever since then, we've been winning until this guy.
Now, I do got to say, your stable, Big Money, I have the utmost respect for all the guys in your stable. Tremendous workers. They're just not better than Downfall Cathedral.
Like I said, you were lucky. Boom Mayhem was out of commission, and you were put with Mayhem and Rex.
That's true. That's true. But if memory serves me correctly, I don't think you were there either. You weren't there in your boys' corner. So, what does that say about you, brother?
I was making big money moves. Unlike you, my friend.
Okay.
You lost those TWE tag team titles from JBD and Domino.
You had to bring that up, didn't you? You just had to bring that up.
I am just saying.
I mean, you know what? It's okay. That's okay. They were the better men that night. I will admit, I was a little distracted. We had just won the Traditional Wrestling Entertainment Tag Team of the Year. I was a little excited. Ryan Riven and myself wanted to go out and celebrate as only you can in California. And so maybe I wasn't as focused on the match. Maybe I underestimated the Shadow Society just a little bit. And yeah, they did take our titles. But boys, when you watch this, when you're listening, we want those titles back.
Not if Big Money gets it first, buddy.
Anytime, anywhere. Anytime, anywhere, Big Money.
I'll remember this.
What advice, if any, did D'Lo Brown give the both either one of you? And do you still use that advice today?
Go ahead, Ram.
Oh, thank you, sir. Well, to be honest, I never actually met D'Lo Brown. I've heard he's a tremendous guy. And actually, when I worked at Rocky Mountain Pro, I know that he occasionally does announce for them. But unfortunately, the show that I worked, he wasn't there, so I didn't get to meet him. But if D'Lo Brown gave me any of his time, I would keep my mouth shut and I would listen to anything he had to say. Nothing but respect for D'Lo.
Agreed.
And how about you, Big Money?
I agree with Ramrock. I have actually met him. Unfortunately, didn't get really much advice because, well, he was busy running 3PWA in Orange County. But if he were to give me advice, I would duct tape my mouth and just listen to the man because he knows.
He knows.
Well, at least they know how to respect a true legend, unlike the flying forehead over there. He thinks he knows it all the time.
Well, the only
You
problem
put
with what
eyes
Big
and a
Money
mouth on your forehead there, buddy.
the only problem with what Big Money Dodge had just said,
Oh,
if you put some duct tape over your mouth, you might pass out, man, because I don't think you can go 2 seconds without saying something.
Oh, this guy, I swear.
But
I'm
Mr. Flying
arguing
Forehead,
with a
sir.
freaking forehead.
But Mr. Flying
And you're
Forehead, sir,
losing.
we could say the same thing about you.
Yes, but I pull it off well. Even with my forehead.
That's debatable.
Oh,
I'm starting to like this guy.
4-1 for Pat finally. There we go.
Mhm.
Now he's becoming big money talent in this place.
Yeah, don't let him write you a check, Pat. Get it in cash and get it in real money.
You're just jealous
Please,
you're
not
losing
by
your
the
podcast
government.
slowly. Okay, next question.
What was the best advice your trainer has given you?
Mouth shut, ears open. That was
Yep.
Ryan Katz.
Yep.
Constantly learning in this business. Whether it's from the lowest match on the card to the main event, to the most inexperienced guy to the most experienced guy. I firmly believe that you can learn everything. You can learn anything from anyone in this business, and this business is constantly evolving and constantly changing, and it's impossible to know everything. And so the best thing you can do is to keep your mouth shut and your ears open and listen, because you never know what you'll pick up.
I second that.
So maybe you should take some advice, Mr. Forehead, from both of your guests and know when to shut up.
Well, if I shut up and left it to the two of you that's on here normally, we wouldn't have a podcast anymore.
I was going to say, somebody has to talk. This is a podcast.
That's right.
Hey! Remember who books all your talent. Remember,
Mm.
I can give
me.
it. I can give it and take it away.
Excuse me. Who forgot when the Crockett Cup was and almost ruined the chance to get the country gentleman? Excuse me. Who was that?
Well, that's where I brought in Big Money and he saved the day.
That's
Because
a
everybody
few
has a
calls.
prize.
That's all it takes.
Unfortunately, I have to agree with our executive producer on this one. He's always told me I can't shut up. So I will talk and talk and talk.
So the next question goes to Pat. Go ahead.
What is it like being from Germany and wrestling in the States. Have you
Uh,
ever gone back to Germany?
Yes. So it is a very, very different culture coming from Germany to the United States. Wrestling is not real big in Germany. There's a very few select promotions that run. The fans over there are diehard, but they only do shows like maybe 5 or 6 times a year. There's not a lot of shows over there. And so when they do shows, it's always the same fan base every single time. And so, like a magician, you can't do your same old tricks every time. You have to constantly reinvent yourself. Whereas here in the States, there is a plethora. I mean, you can go anywhere, any state, and there's professional wrestling all over. And there's constantly different fans. So you could literally take what's being called married in the business. You could take Downfall Cathedral and Big Money, and we could literally work the same exact match every single state and get over that way, whereas that definitely wouldn't fly in Germany. As for going back to Germany, absolutely. I'm actually in contact with multiple promotions out there, multiple promoters, and I'm actually hoping to get out there in June or July this year.
And I'm going to put a little twist on this question to you, Big Money. Have you ever wanted to travel to Germany?
If it's facing this guy, yeah, I've always wanted to travel, of course. And
Worldwide, baby. Let's do this.
I'm so down. And I've always wanted to leave the States to adventure other promotions, other talents, maybe become Big Money Inc. in Germany or somewhere else. Who knows?
Big Deutschmark.
I don't know what that means. Shut up. Don't speak.
I know it wasn't
Money.
very nice. I know
Big
it wasn't
Money,
very nice.
How you gonna travel? I didn't think you could hitchhike all the way to Germany. You don't have any money, so I mean, can't get on a plane or a train or.
I got my private jets. And my lawyers.
Yeah, that you sneak onto in the luggage rack.
Again, how is
We're
the
arguing
talking head?
with the freaking forehead. Why are we even bothering with that?
How is the talking forehead going to be able to travel to Germany to referee this match?
Hey, I never said I was going to
Oh.
Germany.
The only place he's going is to the bathroom and back. That's it.
Okay, well,
That's
I've totally
traveling.
lost control of this podcast. So, yeah.
Welcome to Big Money Inc.
Oh, it's gone from big money to toilet humor.
Welcome to wrestling too.
Yeah, no kidding.
I guess now would be a time to thank our first sponsor, Big Money Dodge, for shining this podcast up and making it what it is today.
Thank you. Thank you. You're
I'll
welcome,
get-
forehead.
How can he be a sponsor again when I haven't seen any money?
Because I gave it to the right person, not the forehead. I don't spend my money on foreheads.
Now you're missing out. I got the best forehead in the business.
Yeah,
Okay,
probably.
so
That's probably because you use turtle racks on it, don't you?
Well, no.
Don't
it's
feel
more like
bad,
the
forehead.
car
I
polish
use it
stuff.
too.
Family show.
okay, so who has the next question?
Can you tell us how your finisher came about or came to be?
Big money. Leave the floor to you.
I just like throwing money at people's face. They get annoying. They're
Oh,
ugly. I mean, look at the forehead over there. I just want to throw a bunch of money on the forehead and smack it and go home. Call it a
you
night.
see, I would have known that if you would have actually showed up to the match and helped your boys out. Maybe I would have seen this big
making
finish.
Big money move.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my!
Well, unlike throwing some paper, which, isn't going to do a damn thing, the Ramrock actually has a real finishing move. And I actually have a few. So,
Crying because he loses the TWE titles.
You know what? You're
Go ahead.
just be happy that that we are not in the same room together. Okay, you keep bringing that sore subject up. I'm gonna get you, man.
I got
Anytime.
security. I'm not worried. Go ahead.
Okay. But anyways, back to what I was saying. I have two finishing moves. So the first one is the Das Boot, which is essentially a modified pump kick, kind of like what Sheamus does, but with a little German snap on it. My second finisher is called the Blitzkrieg Drop. And the way that evolved was I was actually taught this by Jesus Rodriguez. He is Chimera on the independent circuit, but he was actually Ricardo Rodriguez in the WWE, Alberto Del Rio's ring announcer. Great guy. And he actually taught me how to do the Blitzkrieg Drop. And so what it is I pick my opponent up on my shoulders, and I throw them up and over, kind of like an F5, but instead of landing on my back, I sit out with it to maximize the input and knocks out my opponents. I'm pretty sure your boy Jimmy Mayhem felt that one, and that's actually what got the 3 count.
Next question.
I believe that would be
I think this one,
I think that would be Pat's question, correct?
Yeah, it would. Okay, this is going to both of you. And it's probably going to get you laughing. My favorite snack is cookies. What is your favorite cookie or snack, and what would it be and why?
Go ahead, Ramrock.
I'm a sucker for anything peanut butter. So peanut butter, Reese's Pieces, just straight peanut butter out of the jar. That is my snack of choice.
Reese's Pieces Buttercups.
Oh, good choice. Good choice.
Ever since I was a kid.
I knew I connected with Big Money.
Smart man.
So that's 2 of 3 on this podcast that are in favor of Big Money Inc.
Well, they're the smart ones in this podcast.
Oh, I see.
Unlike this forehead in this Ramrock guy.
So, unfortunately, majority rules, Mr. Forehead, and majority says Mr. Big Money is now the new owner of the podcast.
Okay.
you guys know why Big Money didn't say he liked cookies, right? He got banned from getting cookies from the Girl Scouts because he stole the money out of their little, jar where they keep the money.
I believe that. That's something that Big Money would do.
Now, our next question, I think, is only going to be for Ramrock, because I don't think there's any advice in throwing fake money into people's faces. But who was the last person to give you advice on your wrestling skills, and do you still use that advice today?
His dog.
Absolutely. Yes, my dog does give me great advice. Thank you, Big Money. But really, the last person that gave me advice is Jay Garland. Again, the feature presentation, one of the best independent pro wrestlers on the scene today. And essentially, what he told me is always to fall back to your fundamentals. The fundamentals cannot stress enough how important footwork, ring positioning, basics. And because the Ramrock, I'm not exactly the biggest guy, I'm not exactly the smallest guy, but I always felt coming up that I needed to be a powerhouse as well as be a high flyer. And Jay Garland really helped teach me that you don't have to do all the crazy flashy moves and shorten your career. If you have solid fundamentals, that will get you places, and that has never steered me wrong. So definitely stick to the fundamentals.
Yep. I actually agree with this guy.
What? No snappy comment from the forehead?
So
Time is
what-
money,
no.
forehead.
Yeah. Sometimes you have to know when it's better just to hold back for a minute to build the anticipation for the next one.
That's fair enough.
I have no answer because I agree with this rock.
You know, I've been doing this for a minute there, Steve.
Oh, I know.
I know what I'm talking about sometimes.
Sometimes.
I mean, your boys haven't given me too much of a concussion. I can still think.
Like I said, we'll make our way to Arizona if you like.
Anytime, anywhere, baby. Let's do this.
All I gotta do is make one call to chew.
Oh, I know exactly who you're talking about.
Good man.
Okay, I'm gonna add a word into this next question. So, for Ramrock, how would you describe your wrestling style? And for Big Money, how would you describe your manager style?
Go ahead, Ramrock.
My wrestling style is definitely powerhouse brawler. That is definitely it's always done me well. I tried dabbling a little bit in the high flying, and depending on the match, depending on the need, depending on where the crowd's at, I will bust out some high flying moves. I'm still not too old for that, but overall, it's powerhouse brawler.
I'm like a Paul Heyman. I like to get in people's faces. And Ramrock was lucky I wasn't there at the TWE show, by the way. Because him and But I would say I love making business, doing business with the annoying opponents, and maybe even working the ref. Who knows?
So talking forehead, shouldn't you be thinking a sponsor right about now, or do I have to do your job for you?
He's busy watching the Golden Girls.
Actually, you already thanked our first sponsor, or would-be sponsor, which was Big Money Dodge.
You're welcome.
Oh, okay. Well, then carry on. Do you have a question, Mr. Forehead, for these two outstanding guests?
Yes, I do. But
No,
first,
you don't? Okay, moving on. Pat, do you have a question?
hold on, I'm not done yet.
Remember,
So-
time is money.
You keep asking why he wasn't there in that match, why he wasn't in the corner. You know why? He was in bankruptcy court because that's all he can get his money to pay his guys.
Yes. I love it. Now it all makes sense. Okay. Thank you, Forehead.
You're welcome.
Almighty forehead.
Okay, so was that your question? Can I move on to Pat now?
No, that wasn't my question.
Oh God.
Ah.
So this one's to Ramrock again. When you wrestle Cookies and Cream, do you chase it down with a glass of milk afterwards?
Oh, very, very good. Cookies and cream. You know, it was funny because before I was managed by Tu Maguchi, I had another manager. His name is Pierre Val. And we still talk quite a bit. And I actually recently talked with him because I'm not sure if you guys are aware of it, but Downfall Cathedral and Cookies and Cream we have a very storied history between the two teams. So our very first match as a tag team, Ryan Riven and myself, was against Jay Garland and Pete the Heat Petroselli, Cookies and Cream. And Cookies and Cream is one of the most established tag teams in the Arizona circuit. They're one of the best. I would put them up against just about anybody. I have a tremendous amount of respect for them. Jay Garland also being my, one of my mentors. I have a tremendous amount of respect for him as well. Pete the Heat, he's a toothless little hooligan. That guy can, just come to Battleground May 6th, and I'll show you exactly what I'm going to do to that guy. But anyways, going back to drinking a glass of milk after I crumble Cookies and Cream. These guys and I, we have a tremendous history. So our first match together as Downfall Cathedral was against these guys. They beat us. They're the more experienced tag team. Our first time tagging up together. We gave them a fight, but they beat us. The second time, though, we not only beat Cookies and Cream, we humiliated Cookies and Cream so bad that they actually broke up for months, and they just now rekindled their partnership. And so this is the rubber match, May 6th, Mayhem, Battleground Pro Wrestling. This is the rubber match. Match 3, Downfall Cathedral versus Cookies and Cream, winner take all. And this time, they are coming to Greeley, Colorado. They are coming to Battleground, which is the Downfall Cathedral's home now. So we have the home field advantage this time against Cookies and Cream. And you're darn right. After I pin them, after I hit them with the DOS boot and crumble Cookies and Cream one more time, yeah, maybe I will go out and have a nice tall glass of milk.
That smells like big money match right there.
Oh, it's going to be big money. You better bust out some real money and not that Monopoly money to get into this show.
Keep talking.
Okay. Well, now.
I'm going to modify this question just a little bit, but it's going to be for the both of you. For Ramrock, if you had a dream match, what would it be? Who would be involved? And why? And would you put over them in that match? And for big money, manager-wise.
Big money?
Paul Heyman and Bobby the Brain Heenan.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Very good.
I would love if he was. Bobby Heenan was the greatest mouthpiece of his time.
That's who I study. Him and $1 Million Man.
Of course. And Pat, I agree with you. I love Bobby Heenan. Wonderful. Wonderful.
Great
So
person to research.
the question now, is this a match for the Ramrock or just a match for anybody?
Anybody you want, you can even throw yourself in there.
Okay.
Please
Okay.
throw yourself in hell in itself.
A cage match in my illustrious career, I have not had a cage match. And so personally, that is a bucket list match for me, is a cage match. So why don't you bust out them big dollars? Let's have the Ramrock. Let's have Downfall Cathedral versus Big Money in the cage. Bring it on. But Pat, to answer your question, the dream match of all time that I wish we could have seen, I actually have two. Number one, Bret the Hitman Hart versus Kurt Angle. Number two, Sting versus The Undertaker.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with those two as well.
If we could have seen Bret the Hitman Hart and Kurt Angle both in their prime, I don't think anyone could top that. I don't think anyone could top it.
So
Now, I have to throw my pick out there.
Go for it.
Let's hear it.
And if he had never gotten into that car accident, I would love to have seen a championship match between the great Magnum TA versus the Nature Boy Ric Flair for that
Oh,
title.
yeah. Now that's a big money match.
Yeah,
I like it.
I agree. What about you,
Hey,
Forehead?
Yeah, I was just gonna say you've been awfully quiet, Forehead.
Mine would be a fatal 4-way tag team.
Who we got?
So the Legion of Doom, the Viking Raiders, Demolition, and Power and Glory.
Interesting combination. I like it.
It really is, yeah.
Who would you want to see win that?
And off to our illustrious executive producer.
No, let him finish his thought first.
Oh, okay.
Who would I win it?
Yeah, who would you want to see win it?
Just because of the shock and awe value of like people going, wow, they would be the Viking Raiders right now.
Ooh, okay. That's now.
Are they
That's
relatives of yours, Ramrock?
I mean, you're putting them up against two of my absolute favorite tag teams, the Legion of Doom and the and Demolition. So that's a tough fight.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And just to throw my 2 cents in, I'd like to see Big Money Inc. versus the Flying Forehead in a Falls Count Anywhere match. Of course, Big Money.
How about Money in the Bank match? Because I don't think he could climb the ladder, so it'll be an easy match.
Oh, okay. Giving yourself the advantage like you always do. Okay,
Well.
yeah.
Not necessarily. There is a way I could climb that ladder. As we know, I'm in a wheelchair, right? We just got to build a really big ramp that would go from the bottom of the ladder to the top.
And there
I
you
do
are
like a-
cutting, and there you are cutting off the executive producer again. No wonder we want to fire you, Mr.
Thank you.
Forehead.
Thank you.
Well, I have to cut off somebody, and you're the best one I can come up with right now because there's nothing much you can do about it.
Except take your podcast away from you.
You've already tried giving it to this big money Dodge.
Okay, I'm going to have to throw my 2 cents on this little bit right here.
Oh,
Instead of a bank money match, both of you in your chairs. Now,
That's not
wheelchair
fair.
match.
That's not fair. I've had more experience than him. He couldn't even probably drive a scooter that his grandma would let him borrow.
But yeah, he can always pay off the referee. Oh, gee, who can that be? Oh, I could referee.
Okay. Moving on. Who has the next? I believe that would be Pat, right? Or is it Forehead's turn?
It's Forehead.
I'm getting tired of the Forehead.
Just because you know I'm just that good, right? Or the fact that my forehead alone's better than your whole body. So I mean, come on now.
Ooh. Good burn.
Okay, Forehead, do you have a question, or do I need to move on?
You're wasting
No.
time.
I do have a question.
Oh God, here we go.
If you could work for one of the major promotions, which one would it be and why?
Big money.
Honestly, I respect WWE, but AEW, I would go for it.
My dream has always will be the WWE. So
He
that's
needs
my
to be in
pick.
it. I personally, I've seen this guy. He needs to be booked. I'm sorry. That's
Thank
the only
you.
thing I
Thank you,
like about
Steve.
Ramrock. He deserves to be on either WWE or with the House of Black on AEW. I'm just saying.
I would be okay with that too.
Ooh, that would
House
be
of Gucci
scary.
versus House of Black. Yeah, let's
Ooh.
do it.
That would be
Sign
scary.
me up for that match.
Same
Let's do
here.
it. Absolutely.
Book it.
Get in
Book
contact with Tony Khan.
Tony Khan, if you're watching this, book him.
Yep. House of Gucci versus House of Black. Now that is big,
Big
money.
money.
Ooh. All right.
Next.
Come on, time's money.
What mark do you feel you have left on the wrestling industry?
Taking this guy out.
Oh man.
No, go ahead, man. Go ahead.
Thanks, Steve. I think if I had to say that if there's any mark that I've left on this industry, I hope that any fans that came and paid their hard-earned money to come watch me work, I hope that they felt that they got their money's worth, for one. For two, I hope that any single young wrestler, aspiring wrestler, anybody who's come to me and asked me for any piece of advice, I hope has helped them in their own careers, in their own journeys in professional wrestling. So if there's any mark that I really hope that I leave, it's the fact that I was always approachable and always helpful.
Personally, I agree with him.
Thank you, Steve.
Yes, sir. Oh, I'm supposed to answer the question too?
Yes, you are.
Oh. Well, honestly, I would say you want to be in the business. It's possible. Anything's possible in this business. And, of course, make money. But if wrestling's your life and one of your goals is to become a pro wrestler like Ramrock or, of course, Big Money Inc., bigger talent than this guy, I would say, honestly, live your dream. Become that wrestler. Become that rich manager. Not richer than I am, but rich. But, yeah, I would say you want to be part of the business and that's your goal in life, then do it. I don't know. That's what I'm thinking.
So,
Oh God,
what's
it's
your
the
best?
forehead's turn.
Yes, it is. What's the Well, the fact that you're getting tired has to be because of Big Money Dodge, because I'm just that damn entertaining.
No, I'm just getting sick and tired of looking at a forehead and not supposedly the owner of this podcast.
So, what's the best match of your career so far, and who was it against?
That's a good question.
Good question. Big Money, lead us off.
The best match, well, I've never had a match, but, my guys was against Brian Kendrick and some green rookie named Legend Daryl at Dream Slam, their very first show. But it was randomly thrown in because Legend Daryl's partner came down with COVID and Brian Kendrick was in the fans and the promoter said, "Hey, Dodge, guess what? Your first match as Big Money Inc. is against Brian Kendrick and Legend Daryl." And I was like, oh, great. So here, I would say that was our biggest match.
That's a huge match.
It really was.
Yeah. Oh, singles match. My biggest singles match was definitely in 2014 at the Flagstaff Orpheum Theater when I defended the WWA Heavyweight Championship against the Hobo. That was a huge match. Almost a sellout venue. And wow, just a lot of build up, a lot of history between myself and Brandon. Man, we left it all in the ring out there. Definitely one of my favorite, most cherished matches. My favorite tag team match, probably up against yeah. You guys are up there. You guys are our top 10 for sure. But recently we actually went up against the Hollywood Dream Breakers, which again was against Boss Baines and a close friend of mine, Ryan Klum. And wow, we just tore the house down. So I don't know if that's my
yours, bro.
Oh, thank you, brother. I appreciate that. I don't know if that was our best match, but it was definitely one of my favorite matches, just because of the history and how special it was. If we had to say like a best tag team match, our first match against the Shadow Society was top notch. Those kids really brought it that night. I'm super proud of them. And yes, of course, Steve, the Big Money Inc. match was huge as well. So quite a few.
Well, you know why that Big Money match was a big one, right? At least for his guys, it's because he wasn't there. They actually knew how to win the match.
Again.
So basically they did better because he wasn't there. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, that is.
Next
Okay, Forehead,
question.
one more outburst like that, Forehead, and I'll banish you to the bad boy room for the rest of the podcast.
You can try.
Past his bedtime anyway.
I don't have a bedtime, man.
Oh wait, because you're stuck in bed, right?
Hey, if you can come down and still be this good, why not do it?
Okay, so moving on. Next question. I believe it's Pat's turn, right?
Actually, we're at a break.
Oh, that's right. Hey, Mr. Forehead, who's your sponsor?
So let's talk to a real sponsor, not like Big Money Dodge over there. But we'd like to say thank you to the CARE program, which stands for Community Action Reaching Everybody. And to get a hold of the lady that's in charge of that, you can get a hold of Becky Bernhardt on Facebook.
Very good.
So this one's to
Got it, you, Dan.
well, I guess it could be to both of you, but if this one was the Big Money Dodge, we wouldn't see him anymore. Have you ever wrestled Fit or David Finlay?
I can't say that I have, but wow, what a dream match that would be.
That would be
Finlay
big
versus
money.
the Ramrock. Yeah, that would be amazing. Love Fit Finlay. Or towards the end of his career, he just went by Finlay. But yeah. Amazing wrestler.
All right.
Pat, I think you're up.
Okay, I'm waiting for Mr. Forehead to make a comment about my hair.
Well, I mean, since you
have
brought it
hair.
up, it looks like a mop that you put, or either that, or when you stick your finger in a light socket.
Well, Nathan, you're just jealous because you can't pull off a perfect perm.
I wouldn't want to.
Your hair looks very nice, Pat.
Thank you.
Okay, so moving forward, go ahead and ask your next question, Pat.
All right, if you could book one match as a promoter, who would be the wrestlers involved? What would the match be? Where would it be? And what would the outcome be?
Go ahead, Ram.
Oh, I was going to say, I want to hear your input on this one, but sure. Okay. Let's see. If I could book any match, where would it be? Who would it be? And what would the outcome be? Well, that's pretty easy. If I could book any match, I would book Downfall Cathedral versus Big Money, round 2, in the cage, in California, and I would beat them over in front of all their family again.
Thank you again so much, Dr. Lee, for everything and for giving
Yeah, what do you got there, huh? How Big Money?
deals and just
Absolutely nothing, because he knows you're right.
Oh,
unfortunately now
I'd say Downfall Cathedral versus Big Money Inc. Hell in a Cell with the Money in the Bank, briefcase of money right on the very top. And of course, we would go up top, of course, because, well,
I see.
yeah. Because they don't know how to climb cages, unlike my guys. And where? Where? What was that promotion in Arizona that Chew and I went to?
Sonoran Championship Wrestling?
Yes.
Ah, okay. Okay.
Tell that promoter to book it.
Okay. All righty. I'll tell Jay Garland to get right on that.
Before we go on to the next question, our illustrious executive producer would love this matchup.
Uh-oh.
Our beloved Forehead with Ramrock versus Big Money's biggest star versus me.
Book it. I love it. Let's do it.
Wait, so you mean I'd get rid of both my host and my co-host? Perfect. Book it.
You wouldn't get rid of me. I have Ramrock in my corner, and we wouldn't lose.
That's right. That's right.
You would just lose your disability checks.
Oh, man.
See, but here's the thing, Big Money. I might lose that match, but they would boo you out of the state for beating the crap out of a person in a wheelchair. So try that one on.
I mean, he's not wrong. They really would.
But knowing my luck,
There
he
would
would
be
want
no
the over with his
evidence.
shirt.
But
I got
Be an
that
evidence.
that
It'd be
gives
like
you
a little
authority.
tiny wheel that would just roll across the ring. That'd be the only thing that'd be left.
But Mr. Forehead, they'd also laugh you out of the arena because you're gonna have to wear a dress to a Mariners game in August.
Oh, you got to go live on that one.
Oh, that's
Oh,
right.
yeah.
I've never heard about that bet.
Yes,
I'll have to
but
see
here's the
that.
thing.
I heard.
I might
that.
have to wear a dress to the Mariners game, but damn it, I'm gonna make that dress look good.
And I know
I
you're
poor pity
watching
me.
too.
So are you going to get that at the Goodwill because that's all you could afford, or what?
I don't know. I've heard you're a card carrying member over there, so
VIP.
All right. So, Mr. Pat, next question.
In your personal opinion, well, can you name your top 5 tag teams from 5 to 1, and who would they be and why?
Top 5 tag teams.
And they can be all time, indie and pro.
Top 5 tag teams. I would have to say the Hart Foundation for sure. Any mix of them. Owen, British Bulldog, Brett, Neidhart, all of them phenomenal tag team workers. Of course, the Road Warriors. They're massive inspiration for Downfall Cathedral. We definitely look to them a lot for our inspiration and our work. Demolition, as I said before, just big, nasty, hard-hitting dudes. On the indie circuit, I've got to give it up, of course, to Cookies and Cream, simply for really breaking us in and teaching us the ropes of tag team wrestling, showing us just how special it could be. And I would say, let's go with the modern tag team. I really like the Viking Raiders a lot. My favorite version of them was the NXT version, the black and gold NXT version, not the colorful version. I actually had the privilege of watching them live, and it was the Viking Raiders versus Ricochet and I can't remember the other guy's name, but holy crap, those guys put on one hell of a show. So those are going to be my 5 tag teams I'm going to go with.
I hate saying this, but Ramrock and Ryan Riven are my number 5. I respect the hell out of these guys. They've been through hell and back. They've been through everything their whole career. I respect them as a human being, as a professional.
Thank you, brother.
Always. I don't know why I'm about to say this, but the Brood, Edge, Christian, and Gangrel, I've liked.
Hey, they're good. They're good.
They are. Legion of Doom. The New Age Outlaws. I'm sorry that.
Yes.
And my very first, besides Big Money Inc., of course, I would say the NWO. Scott Hall, Kevin Nash.
Great choice. Great choice.
That just tops it off for me. What about you, Forehead?
Well, before you continue, Mr. Forehead,
Oh.
Big Money Dodge and I, we just got 2 words for you. Suck it.
Suck it.
Well, mine would have to be, my number 5 would have to be probably the Viking Raiders, because the other ones I'm going to say are a little bit higher than that.
Yeah, like Big Money Inc. Yep, I agree.
No, they would be maybe at maybe 199 out of like 200, give or take.
Okay.
Number 4 would be probably Demolition. Number 3 would be the Young Bucks.
Oh, yeah.
Good choice.
Number 2 is one that's active in AEW a lot right now, is Jon Moxley and Claudio Castagnoli of the BCC.
Oh, another good choice.
I thought you were going to say the Acclaim and Scissor Me Daddy.
Although I do
Also
like
good
the Acclaim,
choice.
and maybe we could send them some info on Big Money Dodge so Max Caster could work him into your rap. That's the only way you'd be relevant on TV.
If he knew how to rap, then okay.
And then number 1.
It don't damn matter who your number 1 team is.
It does to me. Is I'm glad you said that though, because to me, my number 1 would have been the Rock and Sock Connection, just because it was one of those teams that like nobody saw coming, but it worked.
Just thrown at everybody like, what the hell?
Oh, that was a fun tag team. That was a fun era of wrestling.
Yeah.
All right.
All right, I'm going to have to go old school.
Oh, this is on you, Ramrock.
Mm-hmm.
My number 5, Manny Fernandez and Al Perez.
Ooh. Nice choice.
My number 4, the Rock and Roll Express. My number 3, the Midnight Express.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
My number 2, Double A, Arn Anderson and Ole Anderson.
Mm.
The Minnesota Wrecking Crew. And my number 1 choice, I have to say, are the Wild Samoans.
Oh,
All phenomenal choices, Pat.
yeah.
Wild Samoans. Oh man, I haven't thought of them in a long time. Awesome, awesome tag team.
Good pick.
Yeah. Did you guys go back and watch that Vertigo interview?
And so she could still just have this hematoma there. This
Vertigo-
Can't say that I
we had-
have.
We had a Vertigo. He is the son-in-law of Alpha of the Wild Samoans. He was one of our interviews that we did here earlier this month. But you know, you guys forgot some major important tag teams. Okay, you're forgetting the Viking Raiders before they were the Viking Raiders, like maybe War Machine of NW or of ROH.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You're forgetting a team like maybe it's 27-time tag team champions, the Dudley Boys.
The Dudley Boys, good ones.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, you're forgetting. I'm surprised our illustrious Forehead didn't give me a chance to do this. You're forgetting the Broken Hardys, not the Hardy Boys, because I like that gimmick. I like the Broken Hardy gimmick. That right, so I can delete.
Delete.
You can delete that forehead up there.
That was a fun tag team. I like the
That
Broken
was.
gimmick myself.
And thank God Brother Nero came back to AEW and they can do it again before they retire.
Yes.
So I am
I just
looking
hope he can
forward to
stay
that.
clean.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yes.
Please.
That's if Jeff can stay clean. They're actually going to give it one more shot before they retire. Thank you.
Yeah.
Because that is probably the best gimmick the Hardys have had.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Okay, so I won't share my last two, Mr. Forehead. So I'm supposing the question's back to you now, isn't it?
Well,
Wake up, forehead.
yeah, I'm awake. Believe me.
Okay.
And at least when you did the broken map thing, this time you didn't sound like you were a mixture between Kermit the Frog and Yoda.
Yeah, well. Oh, looky, I just cheated the host.
Welcome to the podcast.
That's it.
Oh man.
Don't make me call my attorney Triple M on you. You know I'll do it.
Ooh, the one
Do
that
you have
can't
a
even
question?
beat Big Money Inc. Oh, so
So do you
scared.
have a question, Mr. Forehead, or do I have to delete you again?
Delete.
What advice would you give an inspiring wrestler?
That's a good question. Go ahead, Ram.
Do your research. Find a credible school. There's a lot of, for lack of a better term, there's a lot of shysters out there who claim to be pros and they're not. So get references, find a credible school, train hard. Training doesn't end. So make sure you are there as much as you possibly can, even when your trainer has blessed you to go out and work shows and get booked. That doesn't mean you stop training.
No.
Train. That's what I would tell any aspiring wrestler. Oh, and have a plan B. Make sure that you don't put all your eggs in this basket, because I have said this a million times. breaking into professional wrestling, this is the hardest sport, in my opinion, to break into.
Amen.
This is harder than the NFL. This is harder than the NBA. This is the hardest because you have to be an athlete. You have to be an actor. You have to be a marketing specialist. You have to
gotta
be a
be
social media manager. You have to be so multifaceted. So always have a plan B no matter what. So those would be my two vices. Get a credible school and make sure you have a plan B.
Why you gotta take words out of my mouth?
We're just on the same page here, baby. You know, if you
That's
could
not
afford
fair.
me, maybe I would be a part of Big Money. But you know, I don't think your wallets are deep enough for the Ramrod.
We'll have to see about that one, buddy. I would say study, research, like he said, research day in, day out. Know who you are as a human and as your potential character. Don't be somebody you really aren't. And yes, train. If it's not in the ring, it's got to be in the gym. Could be in the backyard, do rolls, learn bumps, whatever. Research, train. My very first trainer, Tony Reyes and Mikey O'Shea. Train. That. What do you want to do in the business? You want to be a manager? Research. Bobby Brain Heenan, Paul Heyman, the real managers. You want to be a wrestler? Study, train. Like Ramrock says, there's nothing more. No one knows 100% about wrestling because it changes day in, day out. New moves, new everything. Just research, train. Yeah.
And get to your fundamentals. That's the biggest thing. Train hard, learn, perfect your fundamentals, and you can go anywhere.
Exactly. Yep.
Could you give us a list of your top 5 managers from 5 to 1 and why?
Ooh, 5 to 1. I mean, I hate to put him so low because I love him so much, but Paul Heyman is definitely there. He's so good. I mean, I'm going to kind of jump around here a little bit because I don't really have an order here, but Bobby the Brain Heenan was number 1. I can't tell you how many times we have stolen stuff that Bobby the Brain Heenan has done in matches. I just absolutely, he's just the greatest in my opinion. Oh, geez. Of course, we can't forget about oh my gosh, what was his name? The
Big Money Dodge.
Big Money Dodge is a good one. Of course, to Maguchi, you know, my manager is one of the greatest of all times.
In the business a while.
Yes. Absolutely. Been around a long time. He's managed a ton of champions. Phenomenal guy. Definitely knows good talent. My former manager, Pierre. Oh, is that right? Well, he did lead us to multiple tag team championships, so he's obviously knows what he's doing a little bit. My former manager, Pierre Val, also just a incredible mind for the business, an incredible just an incredible foresight to know what sells, what gets over with fans, and really just to know how to work a crowd. But yeah, those would definitely be my favorite managers in the business.
You heard him whisper Big Money Dodge as his number 1, right? You heard it.
I heard him.
I heard it.
Big Money Dodge is pretty good. He's pretty good.
Bobby the Brain Heenan, number 1 of them all.
Yeah.
Paul Heyman, I till this day I watch him, learn, take notes. Let me see. Wow. Gucci, I respect the hell out of him. I've looked up him. I've even met him when Bill Chu and I did a little road trip to Arizona to watch this schmuck and Ryan Ribbon. But no, I respect Gooch. He's one of the best that I've seen in the indies. I'm not even going to say Triple M because he's not half even in there. He's like number 200, but when he can actually beat Big Money Inc., then we'll talk. No, but seriously, Bobby the Brain Heenan, Paul Heyman. God, there's so many. The Mouth of the South, Jimmy Hart was actually
Jimmy
one
Hart
of my
was good.
favorites. He was one of my favorites.
This punch for as smooth as possible.
God, no, Gucci. I really don't know. I mean, I've only studied those guys, those people, like my whole career in the business. That's all I really watch. Paul Heyman is one that I'm like following, not stalking, but following and learning.
What about Paul Bear? Paul Bear was a good
Paul
one.
Bear, yes, thank you. Paul Bear is one of my favorites because he, honestly, as I've seen videos, he's never taken an actual choke slam or anything his whole career. I could be wrong, but I've never seen him take a slam. Maybe I'm wrong, but Paul Bear's one of them. Mr. Yamaguchi, or I can't remember his name. I can't remember the gentleman's name. He's
Are you talking about the manager of Kaientai?
Yes.
Yamaguchi-san.
Yeah, Yamaguchi-san. He's another one that I would put number 5, to be honest, but he's there.
Great, and that leaves us with the forehead asking his next question.
What about your answers up there? Come on, you're making
you
us
want to hear?
answer. Why can't you answer?
You want to hear their answers? Well, the foreheads
Well, not
are boring.
the forehead. I don't want to hear the foreheads because I already know it's going to be another forehead. I don't know.
Okay, so Pat, go ahead and answer your question, Pat.
Okay. You want me to name my top 5 then?
Yeah,
that was the question.
We're number 1.
Okay.
We're good.
Number 5, Mr. Fuji.
Okay, Fuji. Yep.
Number 4, Classy Freddie Blassie.
Oh.
Number 3, I have to put her in here, Miss Elizabeth.
Oh.
Number 2, Sir Oliver Humperdinck. And number 1, Bobby the Brain Heenan.
Yep.
Yes.
Oh.
Very nice choices. I would add Sensational Sherry.
Okay.
I would add, on the very bottom of my list, like number 200, that Triple M guy.
Yeah. Garbage.
Because he can't save this podcast. He couldn't fight his way out of a wet paper bag. That's along with his.
Literally.
That's along with his client too. But
yeah. Mr. Forehead.
My number 1 would actually be, again, I agree with you guys, but I think it'd be a tie between Bobby the Brain Heenan and Big Money Dodge.
Ah, yes. Yes. I can't believe nobody picked Virgil. Come on, guys. No Virgil love out there.
Oh, man.
Well, we didn't ask the forehead for his opinion, so that's right, because matter. It doesn't matter.
Well, I'm going to give it to you anyway.
Oh, there you
go. My top 5 would be Virgil, would be my
What?
number 5.
Oh, I
I was
love
gonna
it.
say, don't put Virgil before Bobby. That's an insult.
Number 4 would be the Grand
What?
Wizard.
Movie. Okay.
Number 3 would
What?
be Francine.
What?
Number 2 would be Jimmy Hart, and number 1, which seems to be the consensus on this one, would be Bobby the Brain Heenan.
Very good.
And again, no one has mentioned Teddy Long.
Teddy Long, that's who I was trying to think of. Holla, holla, holla. We're going to have a tag team match. Oh, yeah. Teddy Long was good.
He's still got the
All right.
moves. I saw that.
Yep.
Oh yeah. So Nathan,
Can
go
I
ahead and
ask
ask
the
your next
question to Ramrock?
Absolutely.
Sir, out of
Hit
all
me.
respect, what is the scariest injury you've had in your career?
The absolute scariest injury I had in my career was I got backdropped off the top rope, and I wasn't prepared for it. My opponent kind of muscled me off the top rope, and I landed very awkwardly on my hip. And I remember when I hit, I actually couldn't feel anything from the waist down for about what felt like an eternity, but it was probably only realistically maybe about 15 to 20 seconds. And I mean, I went and I got checked out, and I had a little bit of strained muscles in my back, but that absolutely scared the crap out of me. And that was definitely the scariest thing, because that was kind of like a wake up call of, man, I could really end my life with one minor mistake in the ring. So that was definitely the scariest. Yep. Yeah. When you can't feel your legs and you can't move, it's terrifying. It scared the crap out of me.
You see, and this is again why Big Money Dodge does his research, because he knew our questions we were going to ask, and that was one of them that we normally ask. So
I watch.
Bravo to Big Money Dodge.
Good choice.
Okay, I have another question for him. Sorry.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. No, you're fine.
Ram, how
Sir.
old were you when you figured out or thought of when you wanted to become a wrestler? Why and who really made you want to become a wrestler?
So I grew up in a small town, and honestly, all of the, I guess, influential people that are supposed to guide you and lead you, your teachers, your pastors, whoever you look up to as like role models, they all kind of discouraged me from doing pro wrestling. And so it wasn't until I was 24 years old when I decided, you know what? I'm not going to listen to anybody. I'm going to actually pursue my dream, and I'm going to learn how to be a pro wrestler. And that's when I had to move to California and enroll in school and do all that. And so, sorry, what was the second part of your question? Who inspired me to do it?
Yeah, who inspired you?
Man.
It could be from WWE, it could be from personal or indies, whatever.
So, actually, it was my friend Josh Lawyer, which, ironically enough, he's not a wrestler. He's actually a firefighter. But I'll never forget when I first started training to be a pro wrestler. And when I first started going to the gym and really started taking like health and fitness seriously, he was in there and he was training to be a bodybuilder. And, I was intimidated of him because I wasn't in nearly as good a shape as I am now back then. And he just came up to me and talked to me, and he really showed me the ropes of what it takes to train hard and turns out we became very, very good friends, and he actually went on to win like bodybuilding competitions, and we were the same age. And so I was like, well, shoot, if he can do that, if he can go live his dream, what's stopping me? Why can't I do it? And so I literally, took that motivation watching him live his dream, and I applied that to mine. And going on 13 years now. So
Much
the
respect.
dream, thank you. The dream lives on.
Yes, sir.
Very, very nice.
Until you face Big Money Inc. again, right?
Of course.
Then we put your ass in retirement.
That's the retirement match. Okay.
There it is. No, much respect. Much respect.
Thank you, brother.
Before we move on, Nathan, why don't you give our last sponsor their plug?
Yes, our last sponsor is Bruce Nichols
Or
Painting.
give him a forehead.
For all your painting needs and pressure washing and lead removal. Like the way Big Money Dodge moves when he's moving around the ring. So,
At least I can move.
so I can move.
So,
Here's the thing. You live in Washington, right? We don't live that far away. We can meet up at a school. I'll show you how I can move.
Oh, you want to face the school?
That's probably the most common. There are some things
Well, I would say, go ahead.
no, go ahead. It's your podcast for now. For now.
For tonight, at least.
I would say you should probably pay for the school first, but I'd actually want to go to the school afterwards, and if the check bounced, they wouldn't take us back.
Fair enough.
So we meet with your hospital, Kaiser, right?
Well,
You
if
get
it's
the bus
Kaiser, we're going to be
fare,
waiting
right?
for a while.
So,
No, it's okay. Just start rolling right now.
so
I'll get
since
right
we're-
on that.
So since we're running short on time, Mr. Forehead,
And hair,
I'm
obviously.
I'm going to choose the last two questions. I'm going to ask them because I'm
He's
just
the
that much better. Because I'm just that much better than you, Forehead, and you know it.
Okay,
And that's why I
MJF
say
want to
neutral.
be,
So the questions are: who is your favorite wrestler turned actor?
Oh.
And the second part to this question is, what is your favorite wrestling movie?
Oh.
Big Money, I'm going to yield the floor to you. I'm going to have to think about this one.
You know, I actually have to think.
so that must be the smoke that's coming off the top of your head then, huh?
Oh, sorry.
I mean, the obvious easy answer right here is The Rock, right? I mean, he was just that dude's phenomenal. He can do it all. Batista is definitely up there as well. His role as Drax in Guardian of the Galaxy. Oh my gosh, I'm freaking dying he killed it. Honestly, he's the best part of those movies in my opinion.
Yeah.
He freaking slays me, dude. But yeah, like The Rock, of course, he's the obvious choice. Anybody like any of Hulk Hogan's movies? Trouble in Paradise, anyone?
Suburban Commando.
Suburban Commando. I mean, those as a kid, those were awesome. Trying to watch them now, not so much.
No.
Yeah.
Turn this seat. Turn it.
Yeah. Honestly, I can't remember. I think it was like the Marine 4 or something. Which Marine was the Miz in? He did a good job in it, whatever it was.
Oh, he was in the movie?
Yeah, he did.
I know.
Because it was John Cena in
I think
the
it was
Marine
number
1, 2,
4.
and 3. Yeah, I think, and then Miz took over, and it was. I mean, I kind of had it on as background music at first, but I ended up sitting down and actually getting kind of intrigued with it. So definitely not one of the ones, but it was okay.
I would say The Rock
Yeah.
on the Fast and the Furious.
Ooh, good choice.
The one with Roman Reigns. Even though he shouldn't
Hobbs
be an
and Shaw.
actor, I'm just saying. Yeah, Hobbs and Shaw. Yeah, that was
Yes.
one of my favorites. Batista, definitely. That new one that he's on.
Oh yeah, the one with the
Oh, the
cabin.
house on the lake, or cabin
Yeah,
on the lake,
Cabin,
or whatever.
Yeah, like that actually got me nervous to fly in Orange County this weekend. Just saying. I'm like, great, my jet's going to fly down like out of nowhere. Great. No, but The Miz, honestly, I respect him as a wrestler, but movies aren't him. Even his reality show with his gorgeous wife, just saying. No, I don't think he needs to be in a movie. I've seen him in a holiday Christmas one, and I'm just like, no.
No.
Fair enough.
I unfortunately, I would choose a forehead being in the movie than him. I'm just kidding.
Well, see, if I was in the movies, then I'd put The Rock to shame. And the only movie that Big Money Dodge could be in is The Muppets Go to Christmas. So
I'd pay to see that.
If I have to pick my favorite, it's a tie between Rowdy Piper and Zeus Tiny Lister. Rowdy Piper, they live, and no holds barred.
Okay.
Very interesting.
I do have to say, I like that David Arquette with Goldberg and I believe Booker T.
Ready to Rumble.
Ready to
Ready to
Rumble.
Ready to rumble.
That one was one of my all-time favorites. I don't know why. It's just like my favorite wrestlers were there, and I'm like, ooh, cool. But,
That was also one of the greatest eras of wrestling, hands
Yeah.
down.
yeah.
It was. I guess I'd have to go with Cena. I guess just his movies are top notch too. Not as good as The Rock's, but I mean, Cena's right
I'll
up there.
go with Cena with the pistachio commercials.
Peacemaker, baby. Peacemaker
That
is
was
so
good.
good.
Yeah,
So-
Peacemaker, yeah.
So, in closing, everybody, normally we're not like this on the podcast, but Big Money Dodge brings out the awesome characters in Nathan and I. Nothing but love for you, Nate. I do love you, man.
Wait, are we
Same
talking
here.
the forehead? That's his name? Nate? The forehead?
Yes, that's my name.
Oh, hi. Hi, forehead, Nate.
Yeah, I love you too, Nathan.
Well, thank you. I appreciate
You
it.
guys keep doing what you're doing. Trust me. You guys are doing an
Absolutely.
amazing job. Much respect.
Guys,
So-
thank you so much for having me on the
Before we-
show. It's been so much fun.
By
Oh,
the
before we
way,
let you guys- before we
Ramrock,
let
you
you-
owe me for being on this.
Oh,
So
okay.
before we let you
I
guys go,
gotcha.
go ahead and plug your guys' next upcoming.
Go ahead, Ram.
So thank you very much. I appreciate that. This Saturday, IZW Wrestling presents Evil Lives. I'll be in Phoenix, Arizona. I believe it used to be at a place called the Horny Toad, but now I think it's Grand Canyon Pizza or something. Yeah,
Is that a family show?
it is a family show. Yes, it's no longer called the Horny Toad anymore. Now it's called like Grand Canyon Pizza Company or something. But it's a cool outdoor event. It's going to be hot as heck because it's Phoenix. But I got that on Saturday, and then as I spoke earlier, Downfall Cathedral is coming back to Colorado. May 4th for Ignition, May 5th for the Beer Stout Lager House, and then May 6th we are coming to Battleground Pro Wrestling, Cookies and Cream versus Downfall Cathedral, rubber match. Definitely don't want to miss that. And then just follow me on social media, the Ramrock, Rocky Steinmetz, and Downfall Cathedral, all on social media.
Tell him Big Money Dodge sent you.
Big Money Dodge got beat by Downfall Cathedral. That's what that title says.
Okay. We'll work on that. We'll get there. Tell your little buddy I say hi.
I sure will. Much
Um,
love, Steve.
Much love, bro. I unfortunately are going to the garbage town of Orange, California for Relentless
Ooh.
Pro Wrestling as my boy Jimmy the Real Mayhem faces that TikToker Mikey O'Shea, a Family Guy.
That is going to be
This
an
Saturday.
awesome match.
It's gonna be a slobber knocker. And a big money, by the way. Yeah, big money match. The winner becomes the first entry for SoCal Heavyweight Championship Tournament in July, ran by Relentless Pro Wrestling. And, well, not to brag, okay, I will brag, Jimmy Mayhem's gonna pulverize this little TikToker guy and move up and become the very first SoCal Heavyweight champion. And Ramrock, if you could afford the Uber, you're more than welcome to come on down. Or even call Bill too. Maybe he'll pick you up. I don't know.
You know, I may just have to come on down and see this. Mikey O'Shea and I are good friends, so you know, I may just have to come down there and support the Irish Juggernaut taking out old Jimmy Mayhem.
Speaking about old, just saying. And then you'll see me Sunday at Inoki Dojo. That's Alexander Sports Arena in LA as Tara Pasu presents Return of the Dragons, I believe. I can't remember the name. They always change it on me. But it's Inoki Dojo. Jimmy Mayhem is, of course, it's a Lucha Libre show, so we don't know who he's against, but we'll figure it out. But it's this Sunday at Alexander Sports Arena in LA. And you can also follow your boy, Big Money Dodge, on Instagram, Facebook. And yeah, that's it pretty much. And Twitter. But I don't really tweet. I'm not the, cornet type person.
You're not a tweeter?
I'm not a tweeter. I don't tweet a lot. No, but you can follow me on Instagram at Big Money Dodge. Find me, follow me, ignore Ramrock and the forehead guy named Nathan the Forehead. But you guys are doing an amazing job. Real talk. Much respect to you three. You guys keep up the great work. Ramrock, I love you. I much respect you in the business and as a human being.
Yes.
Thank you, guys.
And again, Ramrock, thank you for sharing your interview with Steve. This was amazing.
Yes.
And I can probably speak for two of us in here. Mikey O'Shea got his start down here in Washington, or in Oregon, actually.
Yep.
I don't know if you guys knew that or not, at WCWC. So we've been fans of O'Shea for a long, long time.
Very much so.
Good dude.
Are you voting for him in the match? If you
No.
are,
I am.
I'm gonna fire you next.
Nope,
Sorry.
big money all
Can't
the way.
fire somebody you haven't paid yet.
Oh,
Guys,
I have to
thank
pay
you.
the forehead? That's easy. I'll throw a penny. I'll flip pennies.
Throw
at
a
your
couple
forehead.
pennies at the forehead.
Yeah. And if it leaves
Nathan.
mark, you're rich.
But
I
Mr.
can't thank
O'Shea,
you
if
guys
you're-
enough, man.
Absolutely.
Yeah, thank you guys. Thank
Yeah.
you for letting
Absolutely.
me be a part
Yes, and thank you for letting Big Money on the podcast
Yes,
podcast with
thank
you.
you,
That was
Nathan.
really
Thank
awesome.
you. Much respect. I enjoyed it.
Absolutely.
I had to be here for the Ramrock show because, well, he still owes us a rematch, and, well, they're afraid to give it to us, so I'm just waiting.
This was
Anytime, anywhere.
this was
And big,
a fun podcast tonight. I had fun.
was. And Big Money Dodge will be back in the month of May for his very own episode with us.
And no ramrods allowed. Or forehead. Sorry. Forehead.
No foreheads, and no
forehead will be here.
ramrocks.
And Ramrock, you're welcome back anytime, my friend. You're welcome back
Not
anytime.
very
I'm
much
here. You can't afford.
Guys, thank you again. I appreciate everything.
Absolutely. All right, so this wraps up another edition. Thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you on the other side.
See you on the other
Thank
side.
you very much.
guys.